Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling what is hands down the most overlooked element of our physical well-being: vital hydration. I mean, think about it. Your body literally cannot survive more than a few days without water. It's that critical. And yet, millions of us are walking around chronically dehydrated every single day. We're basically trying to operate our engines without the one resource required to keep them running. So let's look at the data and see exactly why you need this stuff every single day.
Okay, let's dive into this because that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? What actually happens when your body gets dehydrated? We all know water is important, in a vague, general sense, but what are the real biological consequences of ignoring our body's absolute need for it? When we don't drink enough, we aren't just feeling a little parched. We are fundamentally altering the environment where our cells live. We're depriving the engine of its primary fuel. So let's pop the hood and see exactly what's going on.
Just look at that massive 60% chunk. That is water. We are essentially just walking bodies of water. 60% of your entire physical makeup is H2O, and that remaining 40%, well, that's literally everything else. Water isn't just a drink, it is quite literally what you are made of. It's the absolute fundamental fuel keeping your system online. Every single organ inside of you totally depends on this 60% ratio to function properly. And the second that percentage starts to dip, man, the whole system starts feeling the strain.
To really grasp this, we're going to take a fast-paced, head-to-toe anatomical tour, starting right at the very top. The brain. Your brain desperately needs water to stay focused and alert, and when you don't give it what it needs, the effects are instantaneous. Even mild dehydration, I'm talking just a tiny dip in your water levels, can completely rob you of your cognitive sharpness. It gets wilder too. Studies show that when you're severely dehydrated, your brain tissue actually shrinks and pulls away from your skull. Hello, nagging headaches? So often we blame a bad night's sleep or a busy schedule for our brain fog, when really, our brain is just begging for a drink.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that massive number, 75%. It turns out your muscles are made up of 3/4 water. Just let that sink in for a second. 3/4 of your actual muscle mass is water. That means staying hydrated is directly tied to your physical capabilities. It's what improves your muscular strength, it builds your endurance so you can go the distance, and crucially, it drives your recovery after a tough workout. If you want your muscles to perform and heal, you absolutely have to keep that 75% reservoir topped up.
Let's keep the momentum going and look even deeper inside, specifically at your bloodstream. Your blood is a staggering 90% water. 90%! This is the delivery system for your entire body, completely responsible for carrying oxygen and vital nutrients to every single cell you have. When you're dehydrated, your blood literally changes. It thickens. Without enough water, it becomes so much harder to pump, which triggers this dangerous chain reaction where your heart has to work way, way harder just to transport that oxygen and those nutrients. You're basically forcing your heart into overtime just by not giving it enough fluid to work with.
Let's move to and see how this builds across the entire human system, because it's a completely interconnected highway. We know the brain needs it for focus, the muscles for strength, and the blood for transport. But water's also doing the heavy lifting to flush toxins right through your kidneys. It acts as this ultimate shock absorber, keeping your joints smoothly lubricated so you can move without pain. It even works from the inside out to keep your skin vibrant and healthy. Literally every major system relies on this single resource working in total harmony.
But here is where things get a bit messy. And honestly, it's where a lot of us feel some totally unnecessary guilt. We're going to shift gears here and do a little myth-busting about the so-called hydration quota. Look, we've all seen those people at the gym lugging around massive plastic gallon jugs like they're chained to them, right? You might even feel like you're constantly failing because you aren't hitting some arbitrary daily water goal. Well, prepare to let go of that guilt. We are going to look at the actual facts about how much water you really need and finally clear up this super widespread myth. So many people firmly believe that absolutely everyone should be chugging 3 to 4 liters of water every single day. But that universal rule, it simply is not true. Forcing a massive, set amount of water completely ignores the reality of a personalized approach. Hydration is definitely not a one-size-fits-all metric. Expecting a rigid volume of fluid to work for everyone, regardless of who you are or what you're doing, totally ignores the highly individualized nature of human biology.
So the crucial point is that the right amount of water depends entirely on you and your environment. Think about it. A teenager sweating through football practice in the hot Texas sun is going to have vastly different fluid requirements than an elderly person sitting and reading a book in a cool air-conditioned room, right? Your age, your body size, how much you move around, and the local climate you live in, these are the real variables that actually dictate your personal water needs.
So if there isn't a strict universal number to hit, how do you actually know if you're drinking enough? Well, this brings us to the ultimate biofeedback check. It is simple, it's highly actionable, and it's a great visual way to gauge your hydration without neurotically tracking every single ounce you drink. The absolute most practical way to check your hydration is simply by looking at your urine. Ideally, it should usually be a pale yellow color. That pale yellow is your body's clear, real-time signal that your hydration levels are exactly where they need to be.
On the flip side, your body will absolutely sound the alarm if you are starved for water. If you're feeling thirsty, guess what? You're already late to the party. Got some unexplained fatigue? That's just your muscles lacking their 75% fuel source. Feeling a bit dizzy? That's your heart struggling to pump thickened blood. And dark yellow urine? That is a very direct, flashing internal alarm explicitly telling you the system is running dry. We have to start listening to these root signals and responding to them way before they escalate.
To avoid those alarms entirely, we need to make hydration your healthiest, most effortless daily habit. Start by simply keeping a water bottle by your side. Honestly, if it's visible, you're going to drink it. Next, get into the rhythm of taking consistent sips throughout the day rather than just chugging a whole massive glass all at once. And above all else, stay ahead of the curve. Drink before you ever actually feel thirsty. By adopting these steady, simple little habits, your brain, your heart, and literally every single cell in your body is going to thank you.
Which really leaves us with this final, critical question to reflect on. Are you waiting until you're thirsty? Because as we've seen from the data today, if you are waiting for that signal, you're already behind. You're already making your heart work harder, you're starving your muscles of their water composition, and you're clouding up your brain's focus. The secret to better physical well-being is literally right there in your hands. So take a hard look at your own habits today, grab a glass of water, and let's start feeling your body the right way.